Irene Waithera, and this is my story. Around 2013 is when the depression started to kick in, like it started to come about. And then about 2020, when it started actually, I had a lot of anxiety. I read online because I was trying to do some research and trying to see what, other people have concluded about the two instances. And it said that anxiety is actually a normal feeling because anxiety is like a worry of what the future is or is going to be. And then depression is majorly attached or attributed to, thoughts of the past and not letting go of the past. Let's start. Welcome to today's episode. Today's episode is not going to be those ones zenye nakuanga napiga makelele all the time, because this is a very sensitive subject and a very sensitive topic, and I just hope I can get through it without, crying or tearing up because of just remembering, those times when things were a bit difficult for me. So I'll just give you a definition of the both. Depression is a mood disorder. Actually, what I'll do is, let me start with depression because that's what actually preceded the anxiety. So today we are going to discuss, or rather in this video we're going to discuss a lot of depression related matters. So depression is a mood disorder that involves persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. Symptoms of depression include a depressed mood, and then reduced pleasure in activities once enjoyed, loss of sexual desire, changes in appetite, unintentional weight gain or loss, sleeping too much or too little, agitation and restlessness, slowed movement, fatigue, and loss of energy, feelings of worthlessness, guilt, difficulty thinking, concentrating, and making decisions, and then recurrent thoughts of death, suicide, or attempted suicide. Whew. Remembering that time is not funny. When I tell you stories about my life, they're always funny or crazy or something, but this one was just a bit much. It was quite difficult for me to go through this season. But the depression really what I've just read for you is what online says. So now I just want to give you my experience, or just explain to you what my experience was like. It's just all these things that I've just read, they actually did happen to me, and you'll just get to hear how it all went down. It all started towards the end of 2013. I remember very well. I started to sort of put myself down, like always feeling like I'm not worthy, I'm not, I'm not deserving of things, I don't deserve to get things, I don't deserve to achieve anything, I was just like, had very strong feelings of undeservedness, like I don't deserve anything. And even here it says one of the things is feelings of worthlessness. Yeah, I honestly don't really know why I started to think like that. However, the person I was dating at that time, I can say highly contributed to me feeling that way, but more so me listening to him and internalizing what he had to say and taking it in a negative way. For example, I had this rule where I wasn't feeling like dressing up on Monday. Like Mondays, I just told him, you just have to excuse me. I'll be wearing whatever I want. But to him, he was like, why don't you want to dress up? Why don't you want to, you know, look nice? Like, what's the problem? I think it's good that you look nice. I think it's good that you look presentable and all that. And when he was telling me this, to me what I was hearing is, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Whether you wear pajamas or you wear a fancy little dress, you're not good enough. That's how I would interpret the whole situation. And I actually don't know why. I just interpreted it as that. And then I started, you know, catching him in, like, I would find messages from girls, pictures of him with girls, other girls, and, you know, oh no, madam, you look at them and you're like, man, I'm not pretty enough. And then it's like, I just convinced myself, because he has other girls, so why should I bother myself? Mbona mimi jisumbue kukaa poa ama, see, he has other girls who look nice for him, so why should I bother? I would constantly put myself down, constantly, like, tell myself I'm not enough. That boyfriend, I think we're gonna call him, let's call him Anthony. Anthony became frustrated with me because we all didn't know what was going on. I also didn't understand that I was starting to sort of fall into depression. We both didn't know what was happening. He couldn't understand why I was always putting myself down, like, always, constantly, like, on a regular basis. I always had these feelings of, yani, missy kitu, I'm a small person, there's nothing that can come out of me, I'm a worthless person. That's what I would think about myself. And, you know, the way you think about yourself, or whatever that you internalize, is what will come out physically. If you know, you love yourself and all that, it will show through, you know, even your skin will look nice and all that. But when you put yourself down, you tend to become down physically as well. So I just didn't like dressing up. And then another thing is, you guys need to understand, is I struggle with fashion a lot. Like, I really do. Like, it's not even a joke. I just, personally, I think I'm just not interested in dressing up and looking fancy and all that. But now, because, you know, you have to look presentable, I try my best. So I think that's another thing that really stressed me out when it came to that relationship, because he expected me to dress up, he expected me to look a certain kind of way, and I just wasn't able to deliver. So I just felt like, okay, I'm just struggling with this whole thing, so why should I continue struggling? So on Mondays, I'm not gonna dress up. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever. The depression continued on through 2014, and it picked up. Let me just refer to my notes. It picked up because, first thing is, it came to a point where I just didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to see sunlight. I used to hate sunlight. I used to find it so irritating. So come say, I'll go and open the curtains and be like, yo, hey, what's, like, you know, hey, it's morning, a new day, it's bright, let's get to today's tasks and all that. That time I just was feeling like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. My curtains were never opened. Always in a dark room. I was always in a dark room. And then I just felt so lazy. And, you know, there's those days that you feel lazy, then there's those days that you feel active. For me, it was 24/7 feelings of laziness, as in, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to wash my clothes. I don't want to wash my room. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit, cover myself with a blanket, and not see anything or anyone. As the months and weeks went by in 2014, I could see that my relationship was falling apart, because now this guy had started to become tired of me, because I was constantly complaining, constantly just having issues with him. I couldn't let him breathe. When I call him and then he doesn't pick the first time, I would make such a big deal out of it. Like, I would send the worst kind of messages, like dragging him kabisa. And I think he just got exhausted by that, because, to be honest, like, as I was thinking back to that relationship with Anthony, I realized that he actually did his best to make the relationship work. I also did, but I think it just got to a point where I became toxic, and he also became we both became toxic. But I can only speak on my end. I don't know about him, so I can only speak on how I saw it and how I interpreted everything. And so I just started to become a very negative and toxic, angry person. I was always angry. always angry, and it was the like kitu ndogo hivi nisha jam, like as in bright colors would annoy the hell out of me. Like nowadays I love yellow and red. Before I just used to hate bright colors, as in I used to hate bright colors. I think I was constantly in black, and somebody once pointed it out, like, you always wear black clothes. But then there's a friend of mine who said, but I love black, nini nini, and she made it seem as though it's not a big deal to be wearing black. And you have to understand, guys, as you're going through this depression phase, as you go through depression, you don't know that you're going through depression. You just think that it's normal, that it's a normal way of living life. But I don't think it's normal to constantly have negative thoughts about yourself every single minute. It wasn't even a joke. Like nowadays I can even stay, and instead of too much thinking, I just block out everything and woosa and just breathe. There was a time I couldn't do that. It was just constant negativity, constant ile kila saa negativeness. And then another thing is I had feelings of unworthiness and being unwanted. The reason why I had these feelings is because it got to a point where Anthony, I would call him 2-3 weeks, we haven't spoken. He doesn't pick my calls. He doesn't respond to my messages. But it's because, okay, now I do understand why he wasn't picking them up. Because I would really frustrate that guy. Like, I really frustrated him. I stressed that guy a lot. And because I was always making him feel, you know, because me, I'm feeling unwanted and unworthy. And so definitely I'm going to project it to, you know, the people around me, because it is what it is. But then one other reason that made me feel unworthy and unwanted is, to me, I knew I was gonna get married to Anthony. I knew it was all set and go. And the moment I started to feel the relationship had started to sleep, it just started to become quite stressful for me to, you know, face the fact that this relationship might actually end one day. Like, it just became difficult for me, and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to control myself, and I just started to become like really angry. And I lost focus, like serious loss of focus, because when I started campus, the thing is, we were supposed to do about 46 units, actually 45, and I knew by 2014 December I would have finished all the units. And then 2014 now, actually by 2014 December, yes. And then 2015 was when I would now concentrate on my project. But by the time 2014 was ending, I still had about 12 units to go, and that meant I wasn't going to graduate together with my fellow classmates. The reason why I had all those units is because I had a serious lack of focus. I was always skipping class, going to see Anthony, because you see, I had already started to feel like the relationship is sleeping. So to me, I thought spending all the freaking time with him was going to resolve the issue, which was actually making it worse, because I was, you know, always up in his face, always up in his, like, always, every day, constantly, 24/7. I was stressing this guy out, and I think there's so much that one can take. I even remember that 2014, now when the depression became full-blown, was or like in August, just near my birthday or around my birthday. I remember that day I threw a birthday. 2014, I was turning what? How many years? I was turning 21, because this year I'm turning 28, which is 7 years. So I was turning 21, and I threw, turning 21 birthday, and my boyfriend just didn't show up. Like, he didn't show up. Anthony didn't show up. And instead of enjoying my birthday, I'm telling you guys, I cried. I cried so badly. Like, that was when it actually dawned on me that this relationship is gone. And I just continued to feel so bad for myself, and just feeling so bad, like nilikuwa tu nasikia vibaya, and I couldn't control it. Like, the negativity and the negative thoughts became worse. Each and every single day, I was constantly putting myself down, constantly telling myself, Irene, you are worthless. You mean nothing to nobody. You are of no value. Nobody cares about you. Like, it was that bad. Then I was easily irritable. As I've told you, anything small, I would always be fighting. I got into so many fights. Like, I would always be fighting, whether it's be it my parents, my siblings, sometimes even friends. As in, I would always be in constant fights, whether it's verbal or physical. Even in public, people I don't know, mtu akinikanyaga tu hivi, nishakuwa tu like, wewe, like yelling and shouting and just causing a scene over, you know, small things that can be solved in a calm manner. I was like a ticking time bomb. Anytime I would just explode. I even remember there was a time, this day, I got home at like 10 o'clock. And at that time, my mom had traveled and my dad as well. So I remember when my mom came back, she starts questioning me. Okay, there was a day I went to a friend's place and then I came back at 10. My family is usually asleep quite early, especially Kitambo. Well, they used to sleep very early, like by 9:30 everybody's dead asleep. Music isha too, and you know, my parents don't watch this sports news, they watch the political part. So ikiisha, we are done, we are gone to bed. So I remember that day when I entered the house, everybody was asleep, and then my sister lied on me that nilingia home sanane and mi nilikuwa nimeingia 10. So we were both standing, and then my mom was questioning me, why did you come home at 2 o'clock, did you what, without saying nini. And I was like, what do you mean? I didn't come here at 2 o'clock. And then she said, but your sister said you came here at 2. I'm telling you guys, I saw black. I just saw black. And I beat I hit her head against the wall, like boom, as in I just really beat her up, like vibaya sana. And you know, to be honest, right now I wouldn't beat her up. I would just be like, mi bede, you believe what you want to believe, but mimi najua nilingia home sane. Like that's it. It's period. Believe whoever you want to believe. Who cares? And I wouldn't like fight her. I wouldn't even be bothered. And then I had crazy bouts of insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because I was constantly thinking about Anthony and how I'm going to save our relationship. I was constantly thinking about that. I neglected my friends, I neglected my family, and my focus, sole focus, even school, I neglected it. As I've told you, my sole focus was on Anthony and how I could resolve I could get us back to a place where we were. But for him, he was just resolved that the relationship is over and he's moving on with his life. He just didn't want anything to do with me anymore, and it just took a toll on me. It did. It took a huge toll on me because I really loved that guy. That guy was my first love, and I remember I was so in love with him, and I say in quotes because I think it was a toxic love. You know, as I told you, I was so needy, and like I used to really be up in his space. The next thing is, I was very impulsive. Pesa tu kidogo hivi lazima iishe. Haiwezi kaa kwa mfuko. Twende tukadunde. Okay, although at that time I wasn't really a raving person, but twende tukakule food. Twende to buy nguo. Always impulsive. Nika inaniwasha, inakuna mfuko yangu. Another thing is I couldn't be told anything. I think even right now I struggle with that. Like, mimi siwezi ambiwa kitu. Mimi. Even my mom told me, wewe, mi sijui nani alienda kakufunza hiyo tabia ya ati wewe huwezi ambiwa kitu. So that's when I actually started to, like really think about it and be like, damn, I actually don't listen to nothing or to nobody. Mimi siwezi ambiwa. And, I just couldn't be told anything. And the reason why I couldn't be told, I just felt like, or sometimes feel like people don't have my best interest at heart. Like they're telling something to me either to harm me, or they don't see my vision, or they don't see what I'm trying to tell them. So sometimes I just find myself not listening to whatever somebody is telling me because I just feel like, you know what, I know better, I can do better. Like that's the kind of mentality, especially at that time. Like right now I'm noticing it, and I try to curb it or hold myself back, but sometimes I can't. But that time it was bad. That time mimi wezi niambia, mimi akiunge niambia kitu nisikize. No way. I even remember that guy, that Anthony, tried to break up with me. I'm telling you guys, I cried the whole day. I cried. I even tell myself, what were you thinking? Like, ulikuwa do? This was in 2014, like towards the end now after him missing my birthday and all that. And I'm not noticing that there's a problem. To me, because he told me the reason why he missed my birthday is because Jamia Mombasa Road. But my birthday was overnight. Like, it was at around 12 a.m. Now, the birthday, let's say it's on a Friday. Now, Saturday morning, Saturday at 12 a.m., let's say he's telling me, oh, ati kuna jam mingi huko Mombasa Road, I'm not gonna be able to make it. And to me, it's just like, your boyfriend is the one who's supposed to, like, wewe na chali yako ndo mnapanga bash. Because if it was his birthday, I would be front and center. That's another thing. When it came to his birthdays, I wouldn't be front and center. Hata sikuwa najua nini na happen. Mimi nimemwish tu happy birthday, and I don't know what he's doing. Also, at that time, I was super broke, like broke, like ile broke yenye hata sio joke, like broke ass. So I couldn't do anything for him, and he was a rich kid. So yeah, he's able to do whatever he wants, he's able to go whatever, but I was never present when it came to celebrating his birthday as well. Another thing is, I used to cry all the time. I used to complain, be sad, and cry almost all the time, especially at night before I sleep. Because first of all, I wasn't even sleeping well, so I would just, constantly have negative thoughts. Like, Anthony akuchukua simu yako juu akupendi, Anthony akuchukua simu yako juu akutaki, Anthony reply message yako juu unasak, like you're a bad person, wewe hata unafaa tu ukufe. Now that's when things started to become serious. In 2015, I could say 2015 was my worst year. Like, in all the years of my life that I have lived, 2015 was the worst year ever. First of all, 2015 was when I broke up with Anthony, because it had started to become very detrimental to the both of us. And then he had actually expressed that he doesn't love me anymore, he doesn't want me anymore, he doesn't find me attractive anymore. And so those three things really made, you see, I'm already having negative thoughts. So him telling me that made it even worse. Like, I was just feeling so worthless and so unwanted. I was just feeling like, guys, like, what did I do? I was just feeling like, what did I do? Like, nini nilifanya hii dunia ndo ni deserve kuambiwa vitu kama hizo, especially na mtu mwenye mimi napenda. And so it started, I started to feel or believe that everybody in my life is the same with Anthony. Everybody in my life doesn't want me. Everybody in my life doesn't care for me. I started to feel that way. I started to feel like no one cares. No one. Even my family, my friends, people who have been there for me, I was always angry at them. Because to me, it was like, if I can love someone so deeply and for them to come and tell me that, then what's going to stop other people in my life from having the same thoughts or feeling the same way that Anthony was feeling? And so 2015 was quite the year. I even remember in August, like right after my birthday, I even moved out of home. I went and lived in Rongai. At first, I started with a friend. You see, what happened is I lied to myself that I can move out of home because I knew I wasn't going to graduate. I knew it wasn't going to happen. And, in my mind, I was like, as long as I'm not living in my parents' home, then how can they ask me about it? They can't. They wouldn't be bothered. But little did I know that, you see, the thing is, they're still paying the school fees. So they're still the ones in control at the end of the day. They still want to see the results. They still want to see what it is that I'm doing there. And I remember I moved out of home and went and lived with a friend for about 2 weeks. This friend is a constant in my life, but then there was a guy. We started talking with each other via Instagram. And he basically just said that I should just go live with him and become his wife. I'll be doing all the housework, and he'll be, bringing home the bread. I'm gonna eat the bacon. Yeah, so it was like that. Like, yeah, I ain't a little pesa, but now he was in school, and he lied to me that he was in third year. But to be honest, up to today, I'm convinced that he was in first year. Very super convinced. Excuse me. I am super convinced that he was in first year, and I lied to my parents that I'm going to live with a girl. Kumbe nimeenda kuishi na kimwanaume. Now, this guy stay tuned for part 2.